I was going to let you go first. You press record. I thought you pressed record this time. So I was like,
that's what we should do.
Whoever
That's
presses
what we
record
should
goes
do.
first.
Exactly.
That'll be a cleaner intro, folks. Hi, everybody.
Well, hey, everyone. Okay.
We're back at it.
This has been a very weird week too, like celebrity deaths and stuff. And usually, I like talk about happy stuff, but like Dr. Ruth, like I thought she died a long time ago. Even Jeremy was like, she was still living. Yeah, she died 96 years old. It's like, wow, she had a really long life.
Time. Yeah. That's good.
I wonder how her
Simmons died.
Yeah, Richard Simmons. I didn't see what age he was when he passed. What?
He was 76, I think it said.
76. Wow. So I remember like my mom used to work out to him when I was in preschool, and she'd have me sit on his feet so she could do like sit-ups, and I just remember her just like doing all his little workouts and everything.
Oh, cute. Richard Simmons, man.
Richard Simmons. And remember he used to do like the meal deal stuff. You remember
what is that?
It was like he was always had these like health programs, these meal programs, and one was Meal a Deal.
Yeah.
I remember something about cards Meal a Deal, and there was another one like Rock and Roll to the 60s, or what was it? He always had these dance workoups, but now
he was a piece of work. He was so like his personality was he was just out there.
Mm-hmm.
People loved him. He was so kind to the people that were overweight. That's what I remember about him the most.
Oh yeah,
like how he made his participants feel like they can do it and it's okay, and they left with their dignity when they had to deal with him, which I thought was
exactly. Yeah, just as long as I can remember, I've always known of Richard Simmons because of my mom. But and then another one was Shannon Doherty. Is that how you say her last name?
Yeah, breast cancer. I'm so surprised. That was, that's the 90210 lady.
Yeah.
That's what I remember her best from, that show.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I know she was in Little House, and I barely remember her from that. But I mainly remember her from 90210.
Right.
But and I was never like
breast cancer.
I know.
So
it was sad. I was never like a really big fan of hers because I never really cared for her characters that she played. But she sounded like she was a really wonderful person. But I just never really liked her character in 90210 for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, I didn't really like her character, her personality of her character either. I didn't really like it. I didn't really like her either. But wow. And I feel bad about not knowing about Dr. Ruth, but I don't feel so bad about not knowing about Richard Simmons and Shannon Doherty, because they died on the same day that the president got shot at. So that was like all over the news, all over everywhere. And I was like, okay, I don't feel so bad I missed those two, but sorry, Dr. Ruth, I missed you too.
Exactly.
Who else is dead? I don't know. So many people have died since COVID that like I forget who's alive now. Like I don't even know who's alive anymore. Like I have to Google people to see if they're even still here.
Well, I know Donald Sutherland. He passed. He was in the Hunger Games. He's Kiefer Sutherland's father.
Kiefer Sutherland's daddy.
Yeah. And remember, what's his name? Luke Perry from 90210. He passed. What was it, last year, the year before? Passed. So now him and Shannon are together. I was looking at some of the clips of her podcast, and they were just really sad. Like
her podcast there was one.
Yeah, she talks about her diagnosis. She interviews other people, but there was like clips in there where she's talking about her illness and accepting, her fate, that she's not going to be here much longer. Or there was one where she felt hopeful, because something about her body chemistry was changing, which would open up new treatments for her to possibly try. That was really sad. She said she was afraid of dying. She just doesn't want to die. And I don't want to die. My mom's like almost 75, and she's like, I don't want to die. She's like, even if I know where I'm going, she's like, I don't want to die. And I feel the same way.
My mom, I think, would say she's ready for Jesus to come back.
Sure,
her and my aunt, they're ready. They're over it.
Well,
they wouldn't mind if Jesus came back today.
Have you ever heard of that one song? Crap. I gotta look it up. It's a country music song, but when I first heard it, I was like, that's exactly how I feel. Is the there's a lyric that says that lying in the bed with you, blah blah blah. I gotta say, I gotta look that up real
Yeah, I'm
quick
gonna have
because
to
I
say
don't want
no.
to.
I don't know that lyric because I
No,
don't
hold on a
listen to
second.
country that often. So I can definitely say I probably don't know that lyric. Yeah, look it up. I want to know. I want to
Let's see
know. I'm
here.
trying to figure out. While you're looking that up, I'm going to try to look up that other actor that I know passed away that was African American. That I can't remember now. So
Oh, it's by
bad.
Kane Brown. Okay, let me just find the lyrics. I like Kane Brown. I think he had another baby. It might be his third child. Got some pretty children. Where is it? I'm just trying to look because it's. I don't need the meaning of the lyrics. I just want the lyrics. Okay, like this is how I feel a lot. Wait, this is not it. Kane Brown, dude. Kane
You said
Brown.
this is how I feel a lot. No, this is not it. This is not how I feel.
Kane.
This is us
I'm just.
Googling stuff, guys. This is what
I
we
know.
do.
I'm
We be
sorry.
talking and we be Googling and we
I'm
try to be figuring stuff
sorry.
out.
And it's so
It's
crazy
just
because I
because
was
our
just.
my memory
Okay,
ain't
here
so
it is.
good.
Okay. Everybody's talking about heaven like they just can't wait to go, saying how it's going to be so good, so beautiful. Lie next to you in this bed with you. I ain't convinced because I don't know how heaven could ever be better than this. And that's exactly how I feel. Every morning when I wake up to Jeremy, I'm just like, there's no way that heaven could feel any better than how I'm feeling in this moment. And I know it probably can, obviously, but I'm not convinced of it. So
You're just thankful to be alive and to have the life that you
exactly. And I'm
have.
just like, it's just the best feeling. I told Jeremy, I wish I could just bottle up that feeling that I have every morning we wake up together and just carry it throughout the day. I would never, ever, ever be in a bad mood. Nobody could ever just bring
Mm-hmm.
me down. I just love that
Wow.
feeling. I just love it. It's
Love
just like a,
wins.
oh, it does. It does.
That's good.
Yeah. I know it sounds
That's so
silly, but
good.
that's how I feel. That I'm in no hurry to die. Love you, Jesus. But
You're just grateful and you're a very grateful person and I think you just appreciate so much from where you came from to where the Lord has brought you and Jeremy to now and how blessed you are, you know? I think you're just
right.
so grateful and appreciative.
Well, and
And
then
that's
also it's
good.
like we're only on this earth for such a short amount of time, and like heaven is forever. So I want to make the most I can on this little amount of life that I have on earth, Since we're going to be in
Yeah.
heaven forever, I hope that's where we go.
Well, I guess this gentleman that I was talking about passed away June 25th, so I'm a little behind, but his name was Bill Cobbs. Do you
Mm,
recognize him? Yeah, he
yeah.
was in several movies. And yeah, he passed away. He was like 90,
I didn't know
just
his
a few
name,
weeks
but
after his 90th birthday.
oh
Yeah.
my
So
God.
that's who I was trying to remember when we were talking before we started recording.
So
I
it's
found
funny.
it.
Well, sometimes like me and Jeremy will be watching a movie or a show. We're like, hey, we know this person. We know this person. We never can remember most people's names, but we know the face. We're like, oh yeah, they were in this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. I can name off the movies, but I cannot remember sometimes their names. Oh.
Yeah. Same girl. Same. Totally the same.
So, anything new with you this past week?
Oh,
I know you've been working
um,
out, all that stuff.
I've been I haven't been working out as much as I normally do because I started a new gig, and the new gig is like 4 10s that I'm doing at
Okay.
night in the
Okay.
middle of the night when everyone's sleeping. I'm working,
Oh,
and I chose this because I wanted to have like 3 days off instead of two,
yeah.
and I wanted to just have the ability to do things during the day if I needed to for like my acting and other things, my the
Yeah.
art stuff. So it killed me. The first 4 days killed me. I barely made it alive. So call and check on me, please. I don't want to be dead in my house for 3 days and no one know I'm dead. Um, but I made it, and I think everyone says it gets easier. It's a very physical job. That's
Mm.
what and I love it. I love it because I do like 17 to 20,000 steps per shift.
Wow.
Just
That's a
doing that.
lot.
So when I'm doing that, I'm not working
Wow.
out. There's no way. There's no way I can do anything
Yeah.
but that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's going
That's a
good.
really good
I had
workout.
my first week.
Tag
Yeah, so I
on.
like it.
Oof.
It's just hard to
Oof.
sleep during the day, like being like a third shifter. It's so hard to
Yeah.
go to bed like at 4 or 5 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't stay asleep. I end up having to like break it up. But yeah, but I like it. And I'm
Oh,
not, it's not
good.
stressful at all to me because, you know, the jobs I've had that have been stressful, this is like nothing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and it's perfect vibe for my life right now, for my balance. And I'm happy. So it's one of the things that
Yay.
I'm doing. I'm doing several things, but that's one of my
So
gigs.
you're still
So,
working when I'm just like waking up to start my day. Wait, what days do you work a week? You got a set schedule?
it varies because they do have like some
Okay.
overtime that you have to do, but no,
Okay.
I work over the weekend, so I work like
Okay.
yeah, I work through the
Who am I here?
weekend, and I start working at like 1:20 in the morning, 1:20 a.m. to like basically 12 p.m.
Okay.
So I'm working
Yeah.
all morning and then all morning, all night and then like
Okay.
all morning, and then I get off around lunchtime for most people. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. See,
so that's my schedule right now.
and you know my schedule. I get up at 2:45 Wednesday in the morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I get off at noon. But I really like that shift because yeah, I'm getting home around lunchtime. It's not really not that bad. It's just 3 days a week. So
Yeah. So we're doing about the same thing.
yeah,
About
yeah, we could like be.
I'm getting to
Hey,
work at
you
like
awake?
1:20.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
literally have to get up some days at 11:30, but I've been pushing it to 12:30. To like if I'm prepared the night before, I can push it to
Yeah.
12:30 where I can get up at 12:30 instead. But yeah.
Oh, good,
Yeah. So
good,
that's
good.
going good. So what have you been up to? What's new with you?
Well, you know, we talked about it. I got back from Florida. No, no, no. Last podcast we did, I was in Florida. So been back this week, just getting back to the grind, and then I guess I'm going back to Florida with Penny in early
You
August.
are?
Yeah, to help her, like,
Nice.
you know, 'cause she's got three little ones, and there's only her and her husband, and you really need a set of eyes on each one of them because they're so young, and they just get away from you so quickly. So I'm going to go with her, and I believe my sister is going to tag along too. She's never been down
Oh, so
to our condo, so
she
I want
talks
to.
you into it. She talks you
Yeah.
into helping her out. That's good.
Well, I was just like, I just can't like. I would be so stressed out knowing they're in Florida and there's just the two of them. And I know they take really good care of their kids, but you know how chaotic it can get, you know, at the
Yeah.
beach and, you know, in the water. But so I asked my sister if she wanted to go. So I'm going to try not to miss any work. I may not be there the full week that they are, but I'll be there the majority because I'm trying not to miss any work because then I'm supposed to go to
Mhm.
Denver too. So we'll just, I don't know.
You're
I'll
just
say I'm trying not
traveling
to
the
miss any
map,
work.
girly.
Yeah, but I'm fixing it where I'm not missing any work because my work is really flexible and it's where you can take off, but I don't want to like abuse it. I don't want to
Right.
take advantage of their kindness. So, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, that's good.
So I
Cool.
know that we're going to do some questions. They're kind of like not exactly fun questions, but it's just, you know, things I was thinking about this week, you know, with all these celebrity deaths. And then Jeremy's best friend, Mitch, his birthday was yesterday and he passed away, you know, last month. So I was just like, oh,
Mhm.
you know, just so weird. So I try not to stay in that zone. I try to like just be, you know, thankful that we're alive and here and celebrate the lives of the people who's not here anymore. But I sent you the list of the questions. Do you want to start?
I read them, yeah, and I was like, "Gosh, I don't know how I'm going to answer some of these."
Me
So we
either.
might have some silent. We might have some moments of silence here, folks. So just deal with it.
Or if we don't know how to
It's
answer,
okay.
maybe we can have some people like message us like their answers because I try not to get so hooked on or stuck in, I don't know, just sad stuff, deep thinking, and I just want to be happy and positive all the time. So I try not to overthink on some things. But sometimes you can't help it; you obsess. But anyway, one of the
Yeah.
questions is, how has your perspective on the world changed over the years?
Um.
You want me to start?
Wow. You start. Yeah. You start.
Okay. I don't want anybody to think that, you know, I'm an asshole or anything, but, you know, once upon a time I was like, I just wanted to help everyone. I wanted everyone to be helped, you know, I have the best interest of everyone. And then I think just over the years, seeing that you can't change the world. Even you want everybody to be taken care of. But then it's like you worry so much about taking care of others who's worrying about taking care of you. And I started like thinking about that, like, I'm worrying about everybody else, but nobody's given two craps about my family and my kids and my parents, you know. So the people, so it's basically me and Jeremy or my siblings or his siblings that has to give a crap about our inner circle. And I hate that. And I know the people's like, you shouldn't want to be in a bubble. You should think beyond that. But I'm just kind of like to the point over the years, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to look out for the best interests of my family, and help
Mm.
others when I can. But I am just so done with like worrying about the world as a whole because what can I do about it? But I can help my little bubble and who's in it. At least I can control that, make a difference in that, but I'm just not going to sit and worry about the world. So I think my perspective on the world is kind of, I guess I got a little bit more pessimistic in that way. I try to be optimistic, but it wears you down though. I just,
Like I feel like I feel like I've become more negative as I get older and more sarcastic, and that's because I think all of my experiences in the world have penetrated my happy soul that I once had. Like I was super duper happy, but it feels like every year that I'm on the earth, something else pierces my soul and hurts me. And it makes
oh,
me like just feel like less joyful and more like negative. So I have to check myself on that a lot.
yeah.
I used to think that I used to want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And now I'm a little bit more
Cautious.
investigative,
Yeah.
cautious. I vet
Yeah.
people out a lot more now than I did before of just letting people in.
Oh.
I'm very, very, yeah. So I've changed my level of trust for the world and people. And yeah, I
I think
just,
that's where wisdom comes into play because, when you're young, dumb, and stupid most of the time. You don't have that wisdom to kind of, you know, uh, be cautious, I guess. You're literally just like throwing caution to the wind, I guess, when you're younger. But I just noticed that, like with me, like I definitely think with us having more wisdom now, I'm not so naive. And I don't want
yeah,
to put up with people's crap anymore or worry about what everybody's thinking about me. I'm like, I'm
right.
not hurting anybody. So I'm just, yeah, I don't have a lot of patience anymore for that kind of stuff. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying, but that's I think that's part of wisdom though. It's making you more cautious because of life experiences has made you that like that.
Yeah.
That's,
Agreed.
if there's one thing
Agreed.
you
Okay,
could
let's look at
change
another one of
about,
these.
okay, if you could change one thing
Yeah, the second
about
one.
society, okay, what's the one thing you would change about society if you could? God, that's a big one.
I would end racism. Racism bothers me, and I experience it a lot in my life being black in America.
Yeah.
And so I would end that somehow. I don't know how we're going to end it, but if I could change that, that's the one thing that I would change. Because if you see little
Yeah.
kids playing at the playground and they don't even notice that there's any differences, a lot of the younger
Right.
ones, it's when we teach them that. So I
Right.
just wish that we could somehow fix that because that is very bothersome to me.
Yeah. And me and Jeremy was talking about that the other night, and I was like, you think by now, 2024, that wouldn't even exist anymore. I mean, it's
No,
been
I
centuries,
didn't think
right?
like that.
It's
It's
like
been forever.
crazy.
Yeah, I know it's going to always exist, but I mean, yeah, you think it would get better. It doesn't feel like it's just, it doesn't feel like it's gotten that much better to me.
I just don't
So,
understand how somebody can feel above anyone else. It's just really weird to wrap your mind around it. It's just weird.
yeah, but that's what I would change. What would you change?
That,
You would change that too?
yep. I've
Yeah,
always tried to
it
raise my
really
kids
bothers
to
me.
think like that, and my grandchildren the same way. And like my kids, my grandkids right now are obsessed with the colors of everyone's skin. Not in a negative way. They're just so in love with different colors of skin. Like Ernest took Thomas through the checkout line at Lowe's, and there was this Hispanic lady that was at the checkout, working, and he was like, you're brown like my Mimi. My Mimi likes to be out in the sun all the time." She couldn't help
What did
but
she
laugh.
say?
She was just laughing. And then like Cooper's the same way, he's like, "Hey, you got brown skin," and or whatever, but they don't look at it as a negative. They just think it's so pretty. It's just, and that's how I was when I was really little. I carried around this one little brown baby doll. I loved it. Carried it around everywhere. I just thought it was the most beautiful thing. So I always try to, with my kids and my grandkids, just like treat everybody how you want to be treated. And my kids, I was so glad though, like they were raised entirely differently from how me and Jeremy were. You know, we grew up in Eastern Kentucky. My kids grew up here in Central Kentucky, and they didn't look at other races the way we were taught growing up. You know what I mean? So it's just really interesting. And I was so proud of Penny once when she was reading in the car and asked us what one certain word meant. And because she had never heard it. And she was almost in high school at that point. And I was just so proud that my kids have a different raising than what we had. Everybody's a little bit more open. But I'm sure they're experiencing it too, you know, how people are so still racist, you know, even though my kids are just so loving and kind, I know they see other people as different. So I
Yeah.
just wish it would just
And a
go
lot of it's
away.
unspoken. It's not, oh, they did this to me. It's unspoken. And unless you are in the receiving end of it, it's hard to even verbalize how it feels. But one of the things that Cameron did when he was really little, and I was so excited, I was excited, but then I was immediately sad afterwards. We used to watch a lot of boxing when I used to be married, and we were watching this boxing match, and there's a black gentleman and a white gentleman. And I asked him a question like, Cameron, who's going to win? And Cameron says, I want the guy in the red trunks to win. And the other guy was wearing like I think white trunks or something. I don't know. But anyways, the guy in the red trunks was actually he was black, I think, or white. One of those. I don't know which one. I don't remember. But he could have said, I want the white guy to win or I want the black guy to win, which is what one of us would have probably said if we didn't know their names. But he identified them by what they were wearing instead of their race. And I was so excited for that moment in time. But then, like I said, I got sad immediately afterward because I was like, this is so nice that he feels like this right now. And he doesn't see like, he doesn't really understand
Right.
the difference of races. And he's just identifying people. And I said, this is so great. But then at the same time, I was sad. I'm like, this isn't going to last.
Right.
He's going to know. And actually, a few years later, he said to me, Mom, he was like 9 years old. And he said this to me, Mom, I need to get into the hearts of man while I'm young, because when I get older, I'll be big and they'll look at me like they look at daddy. Like, so he saw
Oh.
how people treat his dad
Oh.
and he saw it at that young age and said he needs to get in the hearts of man early while he's little so that
Oh
they
my
will like him.
God.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's very wise. He's always been very wise and notices all of these things. But yeah. So he noticed very young. But yeah, I would change, that's what I would change, is the racism
Oh my
somehow if we
God.
could.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. I know. And kids are so innocent, but also so truthful.
So that's what I love about kids. They're very honest. They'll tell you. If you look fat, they'll be like, "Yes, you look fat."
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't look
Exactly.
nice in something, they'll tell you. What about
So I'll
this
let you.
one? What is
Okay.
your greatest fear and how do you manage it? What's your greatest fear?
Uh, I guess, in terms of death, it's, dying in a car, car crash or
Mm,
something. So if I know I'm getting ready to go on a road trip, I do have extreme anxiety about it the day before. But then
I
when I
didn't
wake
know
up
that.
and I'm in the action of getting in the car, I'm fine. And once I'm in the car, I'm fine. But I've always have been like that. So when it comes to my greatest fear, maybe of some type of dying, it would be that. But my greatest fear, other than that, is probably losing a really, really close family member like Jeremy or one of my kids or grandkids or something. I just
Mm,
don't know how I would cope. And I always tell Jeremy, I really hope he goes before me because he's really the rock of our family. Like he keeps us all
yeah,
going. I would much rather him go before me. I mean, me go before him. But I guess
yeah.
just losing a close family member. What's yours?
Mm, my greatest fear would be two things. It's similar to what you said. The first is like having my only child pass away before
Yeah.
me. Like I would not be able to handle that. Like, I'll check
Yeah.
out. That would take me over the edge. And then the other greatest fear that I have outside of like death is gaining my weight back
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
losing all this weight. Like,
Yeah.
somehow having something happen where I somehow gain it back. Like, I have nightmares. I think about that a
Me
lot.
too. I think we talked
So
about that. I have dreams like that. I'm like, no.
yeah, yeah. So, but I think I know that I'm doing the things that I need to do in order for that not to happen. But that's just something that's always, it's in the back of my head,
Yeah.
because I was there
Yeah.
once.
Exactly.
So don't get too cocky. It could happen
Exactly.
again, you know. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's what mine is. Let's see. I'm gonna skip. Let's see. I want to ask you. Oh yeah, this is. I want to know. I want to know what you think about this one. Okay, what life event has shaped you the most?
Yeah, that's one I was reading earlier, and I'm like, how would I answer that? One life event.
I know. I thought I was wondering the same thing because I couldn't think of anything. Like, there's been a lot of life events, but
I
what
think
one
mine,
has
a
shaped?
life event that's probably changed my entire life and set the course of my life would probably be meeting Jeremy, on a school trip. Because meeting
Mm,
him, uh, because my home life was just not very happy. So when I met him, it's just like it just gave me a lot of happiness. And then going around his family, seeing all the traditions they do. So just not, meeting Jeremy was just great because it brought so many wonderful other people into my life, positive people, good role models. Um, so just from that one meeting, that one person has changed my life, has brought hundreds of other good people into my life. So that really, I know it sounds corny, but I guess that meeting
that's a
him.
good one. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
What's yours?
Um, I think that the life event for me that helped shape me the most is when I got divorced in 2012. Um, for those that don't know, I was with my son's father for like 20 years. We were married. We were together for 10, then we got married, and we were married for 10. And we started dating when I was 17 years old. So I went from my mama's house to having
Mm-hmm.
a boyfriend and being with him. And then when I got divorced in 2012, I never learned how to be alone. And so I found myself wanting to jump and get in another relationship because I didn't want to be by myself. But what I
Yeah.
had to learn and what shaped me is I learned how to live, I learned how to be alone, and I learned how to be happy alone and not depend on somebody else for my happiness or for anything, having to do everything on my own. I kept my house
Right.
that I've lived in for 20 some years. I was able, God blessed me to be able to keep everything that I had. And yeah, so that shaped me the most, learning how to be alone and
Yeah.
function on my own and build that confidence that I can do it by myself. And that it's okay to be alone. Like, it's actually a great thing. It's nice
Right.
to have alone time and to be alone sometimes. Different parts of your life, you will be alone. But I'm glad that I learned that early because now, I do hope to get married again one day. But I know that I'll be okay if I get married again and if my spouse passes away or if I get divorced or whatever. I know that I'll be okay because look, I did it before. So
Right. Yeah. I look up to you a whole lot. You're a very good role model for women because I always like, God, if anything was ever happen and I was alone, I hope I could do as good as you. 'Cause I don't know. You got it figured
with
out.
God, all things are possible, girl. Luke 137. For with God, nothing shall be impossible. That's the only way I did it. So I just thank him. I'm just
Yeah, you're just
grateful.
such an inspiration. Holy cow. Like,
Oh, thanks.
seriously, inspiration. So, what other question do you want to ask
Um,
next?
let's see. Some of these are so hard. Like, I don't even know how I'll answer them. What does true love mean to you?
I think true love can mean a lot of different things, not just like a spouse or a boyfriend, but I think it can also mean your children. Because I think you love your children unconditionally, and hopefully they love you unconditionally. But I think that's real true love, the love you have for your child. There's nothing like it. You know, men or women can come and go, but your kids are there. Even if they're,
Yeah.
little poops, you still love them so much, you know, like you can't imagine life without them, So I think that to me is what true love is just the deep, deep love you have for your child, you know. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what true love is because I feel like I don't know. Love seems to be so conditional on so many fronts. But when I think of true love, for my definition is um, not the butterflies and being in love and all of that, but the being able to withstand the pressure of love and
Yeah.
being able to withstand when things don't go well. If that person sticks around,
Yeah.
um, when one gets sick and they're still there, um, like yeah, those types of
Yeah.
things, I think define true love to me more than just how like I love you, because you can love me
Like
one day and not love me the next, not really feel
exactly.
very fond of me the next. But true love, you stick
Exactly.
around even when you hate me, that the day that you don't like me. They say
Exactly.
there's a thin line between love and hate, so
Right. And like,
so
we're all human too. Like you evolve and you grow. Because how we are right now is not how we're going to probably be another 10 or 15 years, or we're not how we were 10 or 15 years ago. So you never know. I mean, you hear people growing apart in love. That's why I said, I guess when I'm thinking about a deep love, I'm thinking about like your children and stuff. That hopefully would
yeah,
never go away, that kind of love. But
right.
but yeah, I get what you're saying. Sometimes it does feel conditional. That was a good
Hmm.
question. Okay, what do you think happens after we die? And I know what you already think because you love
Well,
Jesus.
I think that if you know Jesus and you believe in Jesus, that you will eventually end up in heaven once that happens. So I think there's a heaven, and I think that's where I'm going if I die, because I know the Lord.
Right.
And actually, I want to actually there's Romans 10:9 says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus and shalt believe in thine heart that God has raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. And I believe that if you're saved,
Yeah.
you're going to be end up in heaven. So that's my belief in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
That's my belief too. It's my belief too. I try not to say it and like really think hard about it because if you're trying to, like, a lot of things don't make, it's just almost unbelievable and doesn't really make sense when you think about it. Like me and Jeremy was talking, like, can you believe like how babies are born? You're growing a life in the body. It doesn't even seem like that should even be possible. So when you're starting to think about Jesus and heaven and some of the stories that you hear in the Bible, you're just like, that just sounds like a bunch of crap, you know. And then that's when I stop thinking like that. I'm like, no, it's where you got to have faith. You got to have faith. And what's the harm? What's the harm in believing in Jesus and heaven and all that? What's the worst that could happen?
You
Eh,
make it.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because
I
if I
yeah,
could,
I
you could easily talk yourself out of believing, but it takes a whole lot more to have faith, you know.
yeah, and that's where I'm at in my relationship with God. Is I'm not as religious as I used to be, like as far as like have to go here and be at church every Sunday and do this and serve here and do all these things. I'm more about focused on my actual relationship with
Yep,
him myself,
that's where I'm
and
at.
letting him lead me, letting the Holy Spirit lead me and tell me, if I'm doing the right thing or if I'm not. But yeah, but reading the word, you talked about having faith, and faith comes by hearing, and hearing
Hmm.
by the word of God. So you have to read the word in order to let it get deep down into your spirit, and so
Right.
I try to do that too, but I haven't been the best at keeping myself in my word, which I do need to do better at.
I
And when
think
I
you
say
do
the word, I
amazing.
mean the Bible.
Right. Oh, gotcha.
So
Gotcha. I
yeah,
think I've been
yeah,
like just, I think I'm pretty happy with my relationship with Jesus. I really am pretty happy with it. I just had to like get past like people making you feel guilty or shamed, or like they think that you got
Mm-hmm.
to do A, B, C, D to get to heaven. And if you don't do that, you're not going to go to heaven. I felt like all my life I've felt this pressure. I felt this pressure. And finally, I think I've finally realized in the last couple of years, I'm just like, no, I don't believe that. I worship Jesus in my own way. I think I felt I got a really good relationship with him. And I, I think I'm just not going to let anybody make me feel guilted anymore. You know,
Mm.
I don't think it's
Good.
right for somebody to say,
'Cause
if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you're going to go to hell. You know,
well,
like,
we aren't the judges. God's the ultimate
exactly.
judge. So I don't judge
So I
anybody,
think
but
I'm
I just know
past
what the
that.
Bible says. If you're
Right.
saved, you'll make it. It's basically black and white to
Right.
me, like as far
Exactly.
as that goes. But
Me
I'm not
too.
going to sit down
But it's
here
not
and
to
judge
some
people
people,
of
though.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
You
Some people,
know,
it's not like that.
yeah,
They're very
yeah,
judgmental. I just can't take it. But anyway, we both love Jesus. Yay.
yep. We have the same answer for that one.
Let's see here. God, some of these questions are, what's the toughest decision you've ever made? It don't have to
hmm.
be like, it could just, it could be almost like a life changing decision, that you either regret or actually bettered your life.
um, the toughest decision that I think I've ever had to make was deciding to give up on my marriage
Yeah.
to my son's father. Um, and I will say that when we separated, we were separated for over a year before I actually filed for divorce because I needed to
Okay.
like get that release from God to tell
Yeah.
me like it was okay. But that was really a hard decision because my son was involved in the decision and I
Yeah.
didn't want to negatively impact him, but I also didn't want him to see a relationship that wasn't right either, so yeah, that was very, very hard to make that decision because it
Right.
impacted my son. Obviously it impacted me too and my ex-husband because I don't care who wants the divorce. It's like when you get divorced, it's like experiencing a
Yeah.
death of that relationship. So it was hard to get through, but that was a very, very, that was, I think, the toughest decision that I've ever made. What about you?
I got a lot of decisions I wish I had not done. It has taken me years though to like try not to dwell on it and feel bad and feel bad and feel bad because it's just not doing anybody any good. But I do think it's kind of like what you were saying, Jeremy and I went through some problems, and I think that was probably the biggest one for me too, was calling it quits at one time because it did feel like a death, because I
So
remember Jeremy
sad.
saying, I feel like I'm losing my best friend. He's like, I don't just love
Hmm.
you, I like you. I really like being with you. I really like doing these things. And it was, it's not just tough on, you and your spouse. It's hard on everybody that's connected to you, your
Oh
children, your
yes,
family, your friends.
totally.
It just
Like I
totally,
remember I ran into one of my ex-husband's friends at the store and he said he came up to me and said something about I heard that um you guys aren't together anymore, and he's like I couldn't believe it, and this was a grown man and he literally had tears in his eyes. He was
yeah.
so devastated that we weren't together anymore. Like that affected
Mm-hmm.
him. So not only did it affect him, it affected our family members too. They were all
Yep.
sad
Yeah.
too. So yeah, it affects a lot of people, not just the two people
Yeah. So yeah,
that are
getting
involved.
tore apart affects a lot of people. But then when you're trying to reconcile, that affects everybody too. Because then you
Right.
got to win back everybody's trust. It's a work in progress. It takes a long time, for people to welcome you back into the fold, on either
Hmm.
side. It was, yeah, I guess that's my biggest regret. Um, but also learning to forgive myself was the big, 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 big thing. Learning to forgive. myself so I can move on and be productive in my family. But yeah.
For me, the divorce that decision that I made, I don't regret it. I'm glad that I did that. I needed to do that.
Yeah.
I think it was the best thing. But yeah, so I don't regret the decision, but that was my toughest decision.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I like my life now.
I know. You have a wonderful life.
So
You do.
yeah,
You have a wonderful life.
I got to learn about who I was because I was just always somebody's something, somebody's daughter, somebody's girlfriend, somebody's wife, and now I got to figure out who I am as a person. So yeah,
I think you're doing a pretty good job of it. So those are tough
friend.
questions. I'm about done with those questions.
Yeah,
though. Those
these are tough questions.
I don't think I want to talk about those again anytime soon.
We did good. We did good. We didn't do a lot of laughing today, but we have the word back there. So don't forget. We can't always talk about happy things. We have to talk about other things too. And
yeah,
like you said, this week was rough.
It was weird.
It
was
crazy,
just chaotic.
Assassination attempt against our former president. I mean, what? How? I mean, that hadn't happened since Reagan in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then all these people are dying, and it's just, wow. Yeah.
You know, people that feel bad for the other people that got hurt and killed. And even the shooter's just 20 years old. Like, so
I know,
young.
and I was thinking that's like our kids' age. Like, that's our kids' generation. Like,
yeah. Very heartbreaking.
What in the world? What was he thinking? Like, it was heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking day. I was very sad.
Yeah,
but I was sleeping when it all happened because I was working that third shift job, so I didn't find out for hours after it already happened. Somebody had to text me to tell me. I didn't even see it on TV because I was so busy sleeping and trying to get ready.
Yeah. So I was on my phone. I was on my phone with my brothers, and then I saw something pop up on my phone, and I was like, from the news. I was like, oh. And then my brothers was like, because we have a group text together, and they were talking about it. I was like, what? So I went in and clicked on the news. I'm like, well, crap, that really did happen. That just happened, literally. I'm like, weird.
And I don't care what your political view is. No one wants to see a man killed. No one wants to see. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a grandfather. Nobody wants him dead. Like no human being that.
Yeah, I don't wish anybody
on the right side
dead.
of things. I don't want to see anybody dead, whether I believe politically in what he's doing or not. So I was saddened by the whole thing when I saw the blood on his ear, and I saw I'm like, really, what are we doing? Who's doing this? Like,
yeah, it just makes me sad for. Makes us sad. That makes me very sad for our nation, and I hate that other countries are seeing what's going on here. Like we don't have our crap together. We don't, but just pray. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just,
I don't know. This is going to be.
I have no words.
A weird year. I just know it.
I said something about, well, he's got his street cred now. He just got shot at and he lived. So now he earned his street cred.
I told somebody, he's got some pretty cool pictures now. So
I'm just glad that he's okay and he didn't get killed.
Yeah.
But I'm so sad for the family that did lose their loved one.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
That was horrible. Yeah.
God, I hate that. I hate it. So what are you into this what is today? Monday. This week. It's a brand new week. Oh Lord. No, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
No, today's Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday. I have a lot going on this week. I'm booked like Beyonce, to be honest. I have an acting class after this. I have new headshots that I'm going to take in Chicago.
Oh wow.
Out on Friday. I have dentist appointment, mammogram, for those of you who want all my business. I got
those
that
are important.
Tomorrow. I got 2 appointments tomorrow.
Those are important.
And I got my acting
self-care.
I have to prepare for. Got my acting stuff right here. I have scripts that I'm going to have to perform tonight, 3 different roles. So we'll see how that goes. So I have to still study that and eat, get more protein in. What about you? What are you up to?
I got to wake up early in the morning, go to work. After that, I'm just I think this week I'm trying to get myself back on schedule to working out religiously again. I've been back to it.
You haven't been?
Just when I was in Florida, I did not work out one time because I wanted just to give my full attention to Jeremy. And that's the first time I really slept in truly on a vacation. So, but I've been trying to get back into it since I've been back. But I feel like we've had, playing cards with neighbors Friday, and then we had a family over on Sunday, I think, or Saturday. I don't even remember. Penny's and her kids were over. Yesterday, what did I do? Oh, yesterday I hung out with my sister-in-law. I was like, I'm just going to have a day to chill, but
Nice.
just trying to get back to the groove of things. But yeah, I've kind of been disappointed in myself of just like not working out. I've been still doing good eating, but speaking of which, I do want to tell you, Kenny messaged me and my brother Magnum today. He's lost 20 pounds.
No
I
way.
bet it's not even been 2
How?
weeks.
How did he do it?
Eating
What's he doing?
half portions.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and you know how men, they lose so much faster
Man,
than
it's
women
not
anyway.
fair. I know
No,
it's so not fair. Like they can just think they want to lose weight and be 5 pounds lighter.
yeah, now I'm
That's
like, oh
awesome
my
though. Tell him
god,
I said
because
congratulations.
I will. And then my sister-in-law is doing amazing too, Melody. Like, she's losing weight so crazy. Like, she's having to buy new clothes because her pants are getting so big on her. And she just left to Ireland
Wow.
today, her and her
Oh,
ex-sister-in-law, or still sister-in-laws, But they went to Ireland and they'll be back, I think, on the 25th. So sounds like
nice.
they're going to on an amazing trip. But yeah, I'm like so proud of her and my brother, like getting healthy,
Yeah,
and
that's great.
because it's hard. Like,
It is. Girl, 1 pound is hard to lose, let alone 20.
yeah, and then trying to
Let
keep it
alone
off.
losing pant sizes.
Yeah,
That's
and then
oh
keeping
yeah,
it off.
keeping it
That's
off's
where I'm
hard.
stressed. Just trying to keep it
Yeah.
off, and when me and Jeremy go to the beach too, my main diet is beer. You know, so it does not
And
help
that's not calorie
anything.
free.
Because it's
That
like
show ain't calorie
I
free.
drink beer on the beach and I'm not feeling hungry or anything like that. So it's mainly like beer,
Mm-hmm.
and I stay full, and that bloats me, and I gain a few pounds from it, and then I got to get back home and get it back off. But it's so so daggone hot down there right now that you got to have something cold
Yeah.
in your hands. So
Well, I didn't want to say this, but guess what? Okay, remember
what?
how I told you I just started this new gig and I walk like 17,000 to 20,000 steps a day in the gig.
Uh huh.
Do you know what? I got on the scale yesterday because on Mondays, everybody, I weigh myself. I kid you not. I gained 4 pounds in one freaking week. And I don't understand how. Because I literally was sweating through my clothes. I literally did more in that week than I ever do. And I gained weight. I think it has to do possibly with my new sleep pattern and when I'm eating and stuff too. I don't know. But I wasn't even eating that many calories either. I didn't do well with like counting like and making sure I got my protein and stuff. I tried, but I was so shocked that I gained 4 pounds. And I'm like, what? So I'll leave that there. Everybody
You
pray
could
for
just
me.
think that it's you gaining muscle in your legs and in your butt from all that walking.
Okay, that's what I'll say. So stay tuned. Hopefully next week it'll be different.
Yeah, I'm going to start
But
weighing
yeah.
myself every Monday too. That way I can like check in with you, like, okay, didn't do that
Yeah,
great
let's
this
do that.
week. And I'll have my brother Kenny do it too. Like, Kenny,
Okay.
check in on
Yeah.
Mondays, because I'm
Yeah.
proud of him.
I
Proud,
am
proud, proud of
too.
him. And
That's
my brother
20 pounds
Magnum's
is a
lost
lot.
a lot of weight. Oh my God.
Magnum's
He's
doing
lost,
it too?
yes. He's like, okay,
What?
before Kenny started losing weight, Magnum was only 25 pounds heavier than Kenny. That's how much weight Magnum lost. Yeah.
What?
So I
What
think
is
Kenny was
Magnum
just
doing? He's
like,
just
just
is he
watching what he's
exercising
eating.
or watching what
Well, he's
yeah.
got a bad
It
back and stuff like that, so it's hard for him to really exercise. He does stay very active. He's always building stuff with wood and working around the house, but he's really watching what he's eating.
yeah, you know
That's
what? I
that's
started food
basically it.
journaling again today. That 4 pounds
Mm,
caused me to get my food journal out and I started writing everything down again because I'm like, wait a minute, I got to figure out what's going on here. So,
yeah, and try not to
yeah,
graze. That's really hard because sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I've done really good today. Let me just go grab a handful of Cheez-Its
yeah,
there and there, like throughout
yep.
the day.
Look, I had a couple things to graze on while we've been doing this, and I didn't. I'm like, no, because I don't want to have to write them down. I don't want to write it down, so I'm not. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna go eat dinner now. Have salmon out there. I'm gonna eat that.
Ooh, salmon,
But
delicious. Well, this has been fun,
yes,
even though we had some tough
yes,
questions. But I got a few other ideas for like next week, and hopefully nobody will be shot at next week and all
I know.
that.
Jeez Louise.
And we'll
Right.
think of something.
Hopefully,
Oh,
we can
we
get
also
back
need
to
to have
normal.
a couple of people on. We need some guests.
Yeah, let's have some guests. We haven't had guests in a while, so we'll talk about that.
We need some guests for sure.
Stay tuned, guys. We're gonna have some guests coming in hot here soon. Spice it up a little bit. That'll be fun.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
Thanks everybody for watching. Tune in next week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
That was good.